We are now just 2 weeks out of the NFL draft and about a month removed from the big portion of fantasy football signings and free agency. And the tight end position saw some changes, and it definitely will see some more changes here in the next several weeks when the draft hits. So we got to go through the updated top 12 Dynasty football rankings at the tight end position right here. And this is a new channel exclusively for Dynasty, so please go down there and drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel to show your support if you get value from this video today. So the first guy on the list right here hasn't changed at all. It's Sam Laporta of the Detroit Lions. Sam Laporta is just in a situation where everything lines up once again for him. Not only did he have a legendarily great rookie season as a tight end in fantasy football, everything is intact for his second year. Jared Goff, still the quarterback. Ben Johnson, still the offensive coordinator, and by the way, could have been a head coach very easily. All of his weapons around him, they're all still there. Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, all their weapons are intact. And that may sound like not a great thing. This takes the pressure off of Sam Laporta to where he doesn't have to be Travis Kelce for his team. And I think that's good for his development because keep in mind, this guy's still young. Sam Laporta is still a very young player. So Sam Laporta not having all the pressure of being the only weapon in this offense, I think just continues to grow him in Dynasty. And I don't know a single person I play Dynasty with or who I talk with about Dynasty fantasy football who wouldn't prefer Sam Laporta as their tight end one in Dynasty. Number 2 is Trey McBride. Now, I got a little bit of pushback the first time I did these rankings over a month ago when I had Trey McBride here at number 2. He stands pat, and the reason why is because Trey McBride is young, right? He's coming into his third year in the NFL, and Trey McBride is with a quarterback who is clearly their guy. Kyler Murray, as flawed as he is, Kyler Murray, very talented player, and when you give him a full season, this guy can sling it. And the funny thing is, even with Kyler Murray missing a bunch of time, whenever he came back, Trey McBride was dominant in fantasy football. Dominant last year. And at some point, like they just decided we got to move on from Zach Ertz and this experiment. They made the right move there. Now that Trey McBride is by himself, I don't see any reason why he won't get 10 targets a game. Or at least 8 targets a game. Very effective, very reliable. And yeah, maybe they draft Marvin Harrison Jr., but they're going to take the pressure off each other. Trey McBride, again, at the age that he's at and the production we saw last year, you'd be very lucky to have Trey McBride in Dynasty. Number 3 is Dalton Kincaid. And I really want to put Dalton Kincaid higher than this. I'd prefer him at number 2 because he's got the draft capital over Trey McBride, right? Dalton Kincaid, first round pick in 2023, and did very well with what we saw. You can see the numbers on the screen. They don't even tell the full story, though. Dalton Kincaid was behind Dawson Knox for a bunch of last year. Like, if you remember during the season, Dalton Kincaid didn't play for like the first half of the season, and then Dawson Knox broke his wrist, and that's when we saw more of Dalton Kincaid. It was also ironically the same time that Joe Brady took over the offense and when Ken Dorsey got fired. And Dalton Kincaid showed out that last half of the season. And then when Dawson Knox comes back, he kind of goes back into, not on the bench where he was, but he went into a Robin to the Batman type of role, which is irritating for us in Dynasty, right? Because it's like he's the better player. This is the problem I have with Dalton Kincaid and why I can't put him higher than Trey McBride. They have Dawson Knox under contract for about $50 million over the next several years. They're not just going to put him on the bench. So that's the only thing standing in his way because there's no other wide receivers there as of the time of this filming. They'll probably draft one, but as of right now, who do you have in that building? Well, it's Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid, Curtis Samuel. The best weapon in there is definitely Dalton Kincaid. So, inevitably, got to be a top 3 guy because of the way he performed and because of his draft stock and because of the A's that he provides at the tight end position. Number 4 and 5, Mark Andrews and TJ Hawkinson. And listen, I think that Mark Andrews, the problem I have with Mark Andrews is that, listen, he's getting close to 30, right? And this is a video I made several months back, which didn't get a bunch of views. I thought it was an important video, though. When you're looking to sell players in Dynasty, And I said around 28 to 29, that's when I'm looking to start selling tight ends. Because very few of them are like Travis Kelce, where they're playing really well into their early to mid 30s. George Kittle's also kind of an exception. Mark Andrews has been injured the past several years. He's missed time over the last several years. Yes, when he plays, he's very good, and he's clearly Lamar Jackson's guy. But Mark Andrews, he's got Isaiah Likely behind him, who's played really well as well. So what are the chances that Mark Andrews gets moved aside for Isaiah Likely in the next year or two? I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but I'm saying the possibility is there because he's older and he's had some injuries. And then TJ Hawkinson, kind of an unfortunate similar situation here. Younger than Mark Andrews, 26 years old, and definitely a really good player himself. Like when he played last year, he was excellent. Torn ACL at the back at literally the end of the year. He's going to miss a majority of the season, I believe, in 2024. And with no quarterback right now, as of the time of this filming, they'll probably draft one. But with the uncertainty with the weapons and Jordan Addison's evolution, TJ Hawkinson at the tight end position, tight ends don't always recover as gracefully with lower body injuries. Look at Gronk. Gronk lost a lot of prime years because of lower body injuries. These guys are bigger than wide receivers and running backs. They don't recover quite as well. So I got a little bit of worries for TJ Hawkinson, but I still do believe at the price that you're getting him at in Dynasty startup drafts, it's clear that people still value him. And of course, I understand why, because he's young still and he's coming off a string of excellent seasons in Minnesota. Kyle Pitts at 6 and Brock Bowers at 7. Kyle Pitts is in a situation where it's like do or die. Do or die, what are we going to get from you? I love Kyle Pitts. I think everybody agreed at the time when Kyle Pitts was coming out of Florida, this was going to be it was the best tight end prospect we'd seen coming out of college, possibly ever. And it's like, okay, can he live up to it? And we saw a little bit of it the first year, and then second year it was like, that wasn't good. Then he got injured. Then last year was even worse. Listen, this is a similar situation to Drake London. Bad quarterback play is going to equal bad receiving results from pass catchers. This is not necessarily Pitts' fault. But again, with Kirk Cousins, if he's healthy, this is do or die time for him. Kyle Pitts needs to show out. He's still young. He's still got plenty of dynasty value in the eyes of many. But Kyle Pitts is in a situation right now where it's a must-have season for him. And this season will absolutely make or break his dynasty value. I still got him at top 6. One spot over the rookie, Brock Bowers, because Brock Bowers, if you look at his draft price, like in startup drafts, and if you look at where he's going in dynasty rookie drafts, people clearly value Brock Bowers. And I understand why. 21-year-old tight end, excellent tight end prospect out of Georgia. This guy is a fantastic player. But Brock Bowers, we don't know what team he's going to land on. We don't know where he's going to go in this draft. And again, tight end is such a unique position. They're dependent on their landing spot. Kyle Pitts is the perfect example of this. Excellent tight end prospect. Got dealt a really crappy hand by going to Atlanta with Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke and Marcus Mariota. Like, that's, if you don't get the right landing spot, like Dalton Kincaid did, you're going to struggle as a tight end, especially those first several years. So Brock Bowers, we don't know what's going to happen with him. And if he goes to the right place, he's definitely going to shoot up. But if he goes to the wrong place, he's going to end up lower than he is now. Based on where he's at today, Brock Bowers has to be inside the top 10. The two old guys, George Kittle and Travis Kelce at 8 and 9 here, represent the outliers of the tight end position, as I discussed earlier, and on that video I made a couple months back. Listen, these two guys right here, they're outliers in every sense of the word. George Kittle is in his 30s now, and Travis Kelce is in his mid-30s. And they're still very productive as tight ends. Now, Travis Kelce, we clearly saw that he is not the same player he once was. He turned it on in the playoffs, but he can't sustain a full season of elite Travis Kelce that we know him as. So we know that he's just on his way out of the building. With Kittle, it's like you still saw elite level production in 2023. The question is, can he stay healthy much longer? Because he's had his share of injuries as well. He's on an offense that's elite. He is an elite piece in that offense. So that's why I still value him in Dynasty. But again, if it were up to me, if I had one of these guys, I would actively be looking to sell them in Dynasty because we know their value is still high in Dynasty. Number 10, Cole Kmet, and number 11, David Njoku. Cole Kmet, you know, I originally had him ranked at top 10, and I'm going to keep him here because Cole Kmet, again, this is a very similar argument to what I have with Dawson Knox, but it's actually on steroids. So if you remember when we were talking about Kincaid, and I said the only thing in his way is Dawson Knox and his $50 million deal. Well, Cole Kmet has a very similar deal to Dawson Knox. $50+ million with Chicago he signed before 2023. Before they got Keenan Allen, before they got DJ Moore. So Cole Kmet is not going to just like go into the bushes and never be seen again. That's just not how it's going to happen because he's been effective with Chicago and he's been really one of their best playmakers over the last 2 years. They understand his value. He's going to continue to produce with them. Cole Kmet, obviously things get muddy with a new quarterback who knows if Caleb Williams is going to want to throw the tight end as often as Justin Fields did. That's a concern. And now Keenan Allen's there, giving them finally a solid 1-2 combo at the wide receiver position. So maybe his importance in the offense drops. I wouldn't be surprised of it. But again, we're not just going to see him just be cast into oblivion because of the contract he has. They simply are not going to do that. The NFL is a business. The Bears are trying to get a return on their investment. So expect to see more of Cole Kmet, and he's still young. So I like Cole Kmet in Dynasty still. And David Njoku, I got some flack last time I did these rankings because he wasn't in the top 12. I made a change here. And really the main reason is because they have made very underwhelming moves to upgrade the weapons around him. Amari Cooper is still a Cleveland Brown. We'll see if he is by the time June rolls around. Maybe he's a post-June cut. But they traded to get Jerry Jeudy, which shows me that they're probably not going to aggressively draft a wide receiver this year. So their wide receiver room is basically Elijah Moore, Amari Cooper as of now, Cedric Tillman they drafted last year, and Jerry Jeudy. David Njoku is, aside from Amari Cooper, the most productive of the bunch. And he's got rapport with Deshaun Watson. So they're going to try to make Deshaun Watson work again. David Njoku, the problem I had with him, he's still, he's getting up there in age. I'd prefer to sell him, but make no mistake, David Njoku is absolutely a valuable tight end in Dynasty. And then Evan Ingram at 12 to round it out here is simply just in a situation where the contract is there. He's with Jacksonville for the next 3 to 4 years on a big deal. Evan Ingram is also one of the last remaining weapons in this offense. No Calvin Ridley anymore. Gabe Davis is just signed there. Christian Kirk. Jacksonville may draft a wide receiver, but Evan Ingram has been steady Eddie for Trevor Lawrence. And once Evan Ingram started scoring touchdowns in the back half of the season last year, he quickly had an excellent elite top 3 tight end finish. Because he's a very good, consistent weapon. 7-8 targets a game. Expect that from Evan Ingram. He is steady Eddie for Trevor Lawrence, and that's why you can count on him to continue to hold dynasty value at his age 29 season. Let me know what you think of these rankings in the comments below and who you like outside of this list, who you believe belongs in this list right now. And make sure to stay tuned for my 2024 Dynasty Rookie Draft Guide drop, which will help you find the best values and sleepers in your Dynasty Rookie drafts.